Hey, what's happening? This is TomNerdRemix.com. I have a movie for you today called The Frankenstein Syndrome. Now, this movie, I've been waiting to see it for a while. It originally started, I've been following this project on Facebook. It originally started with the title The Prometheus Project, and at some point during the production got changed to The Frankenstein Syndrome. It's been playing a lot of festivals. It's just been released on DVD, and very cool film. The film stars, it was written and directed by Sean Tretta, produced by Mr. Tretta, Tiffany Shepis, Dustin Lowry, and Noah Todd. And the movie centers around Dr. Elizabeth Barnes, who's played by horror uber hottie Tiffany Shepis. I had the pleasure of meeting her at Motor City Nightmares last year. She wasn't there this year, but she's even more beautiful in person than she is on film, and she smells fantastic. So I kind of have a thing for her. Anyway, Dr. Barnes is going into the service. She's a research scientist going into the service of Dr. Walton, who is played by Ed Lauder, John Rivette. You might remember Cujo and Death Wish 3. I think he was in Not Another Teen movie too. I'm not sure, but played by Ed Lauder, Dr. Walton. He's heading up the Prometheus Project. He's got a bunch of doctors kind of sequestered away, doing illegal research, with organ transplants. Dr. Walton also happens to have cancer. They're doing stem cell-based regenerative serum studies, and it's illegal because it's stem cell. Kind of a hot-button issue, kind of a modern thing, topical. And apparently Dr. Walton paid for or Dr. Barnes's mother's cancer, bills and everything else. So she goes to this, and they have a team of scientists that are working on this, and headed up a man by the name of Marcus, who's kind of overseeing the security. He's played by another veteran of a lot of movie, Louis Mandylor, and he has another Irish soccer hooligan type guy named David Doyle. He's played by Scott Anthony Lee. He figures prominently into the storyline because, the doctors that are doing this research have a stable of women that are artificially inseminating and then harvesting stem cells from runaways and stuff like that. One of the security guys falls in love with one, and shenanigans happen. I don't want to give away too much of this movie, but let's say that the dead are brought back to life, kind of like the movie Subject 2, except without the repetition. And that was another quality movie. But this kind of takes the Frankenstein mythos a little further. Now, the performances in this movie are really good. The movie looks a lot more expensive than it probably actually was. It looks like a major studio film. A lot of that has to do with the cinematography, which is really stellar in this movie. Eve Cohn, by the way, was the cinematographer, and never seen any of her work that I know of, but man, she really shines in this, which is why I'm mentioning it. And Tiffany Shepis, wow, really steps away from the final girl, the bitch goddess type stuff that she's done in the past, and she really brings a lot to this role, really serious role. There's no laughs in this movie at all, and there's precious little sexiness here, but it shows that Tiffany's more than just a pretty face and a hot body. She really has some acting chops, and she really shines in this movie. Now, what really stuck out for me in this movie is the performance of Patty Tyndall, and she plays Dr. Victoria Travell in this movie. Now, I've seen some of her stuff before. I reviewed The 11th Aggression. She was in that. I reviewed The Graves, which I didn't like so much. She was in that. And this movie, wow, she really shines. Her character in this movie does a transition at about the third act of this movie, and man, she really wowed me in this movie. Pleasantly surprised. Awesome performance. Best performance I've seen by an indie actress this year. So I mean, and I've seen some good stuff. So yeah, she really shines in this, and this movie has a lot going for it. Really sharp story, really great performances from everybody. I got a few complaints. The Scully and Mulder types that are questioning Dr. Barnes at the beginning, and it's told mostly through flashbacks, I think almost feels something tacked on. It kind of mucks up the narrative for me, but apparently that's how they wanted to tell the story. So who am I to say that? And after you get past the Kima, who is the first test subject, things kind of progress after that, and it's really cool. The only other problem I have was when David, later in the movie, the way he enunciates and pronounces everything perfectly, doesn't use any slang or anything like that, is menacing, but I don't know, just doesn't work for me. I suppose it's because he relearned how to speak, and if you watch the movie, you'll find out why. But those are small gripes within a really cool film. So I would definitely recommend this as a rental, and definitely as a buy. Put it on your Netflix queue or whatever. You see it at the store, pick it up. The cover art's really cool. It kind of sucks that Tiffany Shepis wasn't in Motor City Nightmares, because if she would have been there, I would have definitely bought a poster to hang on the wall back here, because the poster art's really cool, and you can always have another Tiffany Shepis autograph on your wall. That never hurts, or anybody else involved in this project for that matter, because it really is a cool film. It's a sharp, intelligent, modern take on the Frankenstein myth, and it delivers scares, gore, and a good story. You can't miss with this one, man. I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. The Frankenstein Syndrome, definitely check it out. It used to be called the Prometheus Project. It's, like I said, a really cool take on a Frankenstein story, and I think you'll like it. That being said, I'm Tom. NerdRemix.com. Support independent cinema. Thanks.